Let's talk about the budget, the B word.
Do we have
Um,
to?
we have to, yes. It's coming up. There's a lot of talk about it at the moment. I'm speaking to a lot of customers about the budget, but thank you so much for spending the time to chat with me today. I'm going to ask you a few questions. So, Tommy, you've been in hospitality tech for quite some time now. How did you first become interested in using the technology to improve the engagement for the employees at Honest?
I haven't been in tech for that long. It's been just 4 years, just over 4 years, but I've been in hospitality for 20. So being in the operations for the first 16, 17 years, that really helped me to really understand the needs of the business and being on the ground, on the floor with the teams and chatting to waiters, being hands-on with the managers and with the chefs. You really get a grip of what works and what doesn't work and what opportunities are there in terms of, helping them to improve their engagement or their communication. So that was not my call back then, but very early in the Honest Burgers process, we've introduced a workplace by Meta. I think it was almost 5 years ago now, and that genuinely helped just bringing the communications to a more almost an horizontal kind of format where everyone could get hold of Phil or Tom, our co-founders. Everyone had access to everyone, and it just brought a lot of privacy as well to people. So we would never share their email address, we would never share their phone number while they work for us, and they would have this work-life balance as well to be able to switch off completely from work whenever they're not at work or whenever they're on holiday, and just use WhatsApp for their normal daily communication with their personal stuff.
Yeah, amazing. I think there's still quite a lot of businesses out there that use WhatsApp, and I think
WhatsApp is massive. Yeah.
But I think when you've got an engagement platform, it's crucial to run your business with that, to communicate not only just day-to-day stuff, but launches and information, new products, like technology businesses like us, releasing new releases. Like, it's so important, and I don't think you can do that over WhatsApp. So that's great. Can you explain how Honest Burger has built such a strong culture of employee support, and essentially how does the tech play a part in that?
I think it's always been there from the beginning. I've been with Honest Burgers for 11 years now, and the company started just over 13 years ago. And having a founder-led company, when I joined, Phil, Tom were extremely hands-on. They had multiple hats on. Any founders that start a business, you don't have a central support team behind you. It's just a handful of people. They all do multiple roles and multiple jobs. And they knew every single employees almost personally. And then you start growing, it becomes difficult to keep the same culture and to know everyone personally. When you start having 100 people working for you, that becomes almost impossible because you just can't be everywhere. And then you got people joining, you got people leaving. It's the normal cycle of working in hospitality. So we needed to replace or to have some kind of technology that would support this kind of interaction. And this is kind of where Workplace came in place. And we're not really an email heavy culture. It's a lot of fast messages. There's a lot of group chats, and there's a lot of very targeted chats that people are using for very specific things. And it helped us to have a lot of things in one place, so for people to go and find it. So on Workplace, we have everything related to our policies, related to handbook, but anything related to very specifics, food, service, customer feedback, has their own groups, and things are posted in separate silos to avoid overloading people with information. It has a downside. People tend to use group chats for everything and nothing. And it just becomes, over time, a mess of requests for covers, for stock, for troubleshooting on anything that happens, tech support. So there's definitely two sides of it, but we're working on a solution.
Yeah, no, definitely. The notifications. Obviously, there's quite a lot of tools in the space. How do you decide what fits best for your business, both operationally, efficiency, and employee engagement side?
The key is to get the key people involved in the choosing process. So it starts very early in terms of building the requirements. Before you even get there, it's almost to understand, okay, what is the problem we're trying to solve here before we even start looking at some fancy tech, because you will find and see some really cool stuff, but if it's just something that looks great or looks really cool, or you feel that would be great bringing that in, but it doesn't actually has a purpose, or doesn't actually fix your problem, then it has no place. So start first with the problem. What are you trying to solve? What are the issues, or what are the opportunity you're trying to gain? And then start building your requirements. So what are the non-negotiables that you need specifically? So when you start looking at tech, you have a focus on, okay, is it ticking those boxes? If it's not even there's no point to actually look at it. And then start involving everyone involved. So I always involved all departments if possible. So finance, marketing, people, operations, definitely, food team, and also involving the end user. So if it's something that's going to be impacting the life of people working in the restaurant, then they get involved in the choosing process. I get a few GMs in the mix, a few assistant managers, head chef when I can, because they will be ultimately the end user. And if they don't like it, if they don't feel that it's good enough or easy to use, it's never going to land. So having the buying from everyone helps definitely to choose the right tech.
No, for sure. Definitely getting all the right people together. How do you then measure that success of implementing that tech tool?
How do I measure the success? Implementing is probably the hardest part of choosing tech. The buying process is actually the most fun one, because you just end up window shopping, and it's a lot of back and forth. And it's like buying a new car, right? You just choose different cars that you like, and then you just go into the details and specs, and then until you find the sweet spot of the thing that suits you the best. And then you get into the process of negotiating the price of the car, and then finally you have it. But that's the car stops here, and then you just enjoy the car. With tech is the opposite. That the fun part is buying it, and the hard part is actually to implement it. So as part of the implementation, I always get the end user involved as well. So making sure they set up properly, that it's delivering the expectations that they had with the actual platform. But then the whole process of training and implementing and getting the buy-in from the teams is probably the hardest one. And the key is to explain why we're changing, because the change process is the hardest one to manage, and people just naturally don't like change. Why do you come and bother me with some new stuff when I just got used to use that specific system? So it's explaining why this is coming in, what more it will bring to you, or the time it will save you, and things like that. Or in the long term, how does it bind with the vision and the growth of the company? And then once you've explained why this is coming, it's adapting the training to different learning styles. And there's no one fit all. And now I'm at that point where I create 4 or 5 different formats to really try to find a sweet spot for everyone. So it could be online training sessions, live training sessions, where I try to keep them under an hour, because people get naturally bored, but it doesn't work for everyone. So sometimes I do live training sessions as well with a small group of 15, 20, so they can be hands-on and they can actually touch the tech or play with it.
Yeah, it's tangible, isn't it? So important to have that.
Yeah, one-to-one sessions when it's needed. Some people just struggle in groups and just embarrassed to ask questions. If someone requests a one-to-one session, I will do it, of course, as well. And then there's a lot of things that I do post-training to help people reminding themselves what they've just learned, because I show you something in half an hour, you pretty much forgot half of the stuff that I've shown you. It's normal. You just move on. If you haven't practiced, or if you don't have it in front of you to try to actually apply what you just learned, it would just vanish from your brain. So I do a lot of snippets of training that people can go back to, either short videos, 30 seconds videos on how to do very specific tasks, so you don't have to watch an entire video of everything that you were trained on, or very step-by-step SOPs. So is it literally go here, do that, go here, do that, go here, do that, and same. We're talking about 30 seconds top in terms of reading. My aim is to be able to provide top-up trainings when people are literally on the shift and they're trying to do something, or maybe they have a customer nearby and they just forgot how to do something very specific. Quickly refresh their memories and just get back to their life. And now with AI that we're bringing later this year, that's going to change the game and just bring the answer to them in an even faster and more digestible way.
Amazing. Tell me a little bit about the AI that you're introducing.
So we've done a partnership with a replacement called All Gravy. It's a Danish company that's still founder-led, and we just fell in love with that product. They've got a product that is targeting the Gen Z that we have working for us, and just doesn't take themselves too seriously, and genuinely understand the needs for people working in hospitality. So I think they are an incredible fit for hospitality businesses. And what we're trying to do with them is to bring this kind of all-in-one platform where you can do everything related to your job, up to the point where you're probably a manager. At the moment, we have to have separate apps because we have a tech stack. So we know scheduling happens in one platform, tips happen in a different platform, payroll happens in a different platform, HR, training, all those kind of things are separated, communications. We're trying to bring it all together and to have this central hub You download only that specific app and you get everything done through it. And on top of that, we're building an AI bot that will plug with all our systems and we're enable to ingest all the data that we give it, all the user manuals and all the policies and all the employee handbook and all the troubleshooting things and bits that we have. So when someone has a question, you get an answer straight away. It's an answer we are confident is right, that we can control. It's not an open AI chat GPT finding a weird answer from a different company. Now we control what the platform is feeding from. And we learn also, whereas when someone is asking something that is not available in terms of training or resources, then we can work on making it better and bring more resources that actually has a purpose and people are interested in. So these kind of things will help massively. And because at the moment it goes to me, it goes to anyone in central support, but obviously we have a day job to do on top of supporting the team, and supporting the team is incredibly important, but it means that I'm not always available within the minute to answer obviously any questions, and or at night, or if I'm off, or I'm on holiday, so that would bring just instant response straight away. And then with the AI, we also try to automate a lot of tasks that are just admin led, that people don't really like to do, that don't really generate much value to the business. So anything that people don't really like to do, if you can try to make it shorter and faster by automation or leveraging integrations so the data flows faster, or reporting are produced almost instantly, that saves a lot of time either at central support time or in the restaurants. In the restaurant, that's more important because they can just focus on managing their team or the guest experience. Exactly. So anything we can do to get them back on the floor help. And it also helps with, fighting the budget and making sure that we don't waste a lot of admin hours when we could use those to actually serve our customers or produce our food.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like Honest is ahead of the curve with AI. I think a lot of people are a bit scared of AI, but actually, if you're using it in an efficient way and bringing all your tech stack together, I think that's really clever. Interestingly, the next question is essentially how are you allocating resource towards technology, essentially to prepare for the budget? But I suppose that's the whole AI, right? Do you plan to launch that this year? What, because obviously if you're training the AI bot and it's not an open API, are you spending time? Is that where the resource is going at the moment?
There's different stream of projects that we're working on. The AI thing for engagement and support and troubleshooting is one thing, but there's other areas of AI that we are exploring, either in process or about to start. AI forecasting is something we're genuinely interested, because forecasts obviously has an impact on what we schedule in terms of labor deployment and labor ultimately, but also everything that we order. Everything that we do is fresh, is either made on premises or for kitchen in South London. So we don't have the luxury of having frozen food that we can keep for weeks and weeks or month and month. So we have to be very careful of how much we order, never over ordering so we don't end up wasting, but also never under ordering so we don't end up having things off the menu, and we don't have a big menu. So it's you can clearly see it when something is not available. So using AI to have a better forecast, to order better, but specifically around deployment, really understanding where's the demand throughout the day, when we need to have more staff on, where we need to have less staff on, and help us to understand opening and closing duties, non-admin tasks as well, to try to get them a bit more optimized across the estate. There's a big opportunity for us. Linked to that, then you have AI scheduling or smart scheduling that we're also exploring. Is once you have that graph where the demand is, what is the sweet spot in terms of maximizing the sales but never capping them and never really wasting labor. That kind of also link with in terms of full-timers and part-timers for each location. It's slightly different depending on the shift patterns throughout the day and the demand. So it's almost in longer term throughout the year is to almost move people around or hire very specifically full-timers and part-timers where we need them, to almost match the people to the labor model, instead of usually trying to do the other way around. Is I'll go all those people, this is the perfect rota, but this is actually how many hours I need to give them, and you try to find a sweet spot in between. It will almost try to do it the other way around. It's like, okay, this is the perfect rota. Let's try to actually build a team ultimately that fits that or match that model. And then you go the whole inventory ordering side of things. So once you have all those two things working, it's quite easy to then push it into ordering and inventory and kind of automate all that. Once you know how many burgers you're going to sell on Thursday and Friday, just automate all these kind of things. And then on back of that, which is probably for next year, it's almost having, once everything is in place, it's almost being a position where in the future you have this kind of co-pilot in the back of your head that's just nudging you throughout the day. Now they has all that data and telling you, you said this would happen. It's actually going that way. You should be doing this and this in the next hour to make sure that you're on track. Or tomorrow was supposed to be cloudy. Suddenly the weather has changed and it's sunny. You have a terrace. You might want to call Jane to come and work on the terrace tomorrow, or reallocate someone into a different section. So all those kind of things to help you being more reactive and ultimately maxed out your business and operations.
Yeah, it sounds like there's obviously a lot going on in Honest, that massive project. How do you essentially prioritize with the budget? Where are you prioritizing within the business with technology?
Anything that could save us money or increase the top line sales. We are at a point now that anything that we do, any technology that we bring, if it's not there to serve our people, if it's not there to support our team, it's not there to improve the guest experience, it almost has no place. So it's generally all hands on deck in terms of doing anything we can to support the sales, because the more sales come in, the more it will absorb obviously the national insurance increase that we had not planned like anyone else. The minimum wage, yeah, we were all over it. It was budgeted for. The national insurance increase was definitely a blast for us, or anything that could save money. So it is things around menu engineering, making sure we push the things that has generate the most margin, anything related to any cost savings that we could make in terms of maybe this piece of tech that we don't need anymore, or that don't generate enough value, or that was just a nice to have back then, maybe we don't need anymore. Renegotiating contracts or trying to merge some techs together. Something that I would love to do this year is to stop having an HRS and a scheduling platform separated, but have one platform that does both, so it's one less contract and hopefully a bit less money to spend on the system. So anything we can do to really protect the bottom line generally helps.
So I suppose with that then, with the budget emerging, what trends are you looking at that essentially make your employee engagement next level? Is there any trends that you've seen? Because I heard that, I don't know if this is true or not, Workforce, the Facebook they were getting rid of that engagement platform, or is that staying?
No, Workplace is going. So Workplace is sunsetting, is gone by September this year. That's part of the reason why we've introduced All Gravy. With Workplace going away,
facing that
exactly, but then, doing way more.
I was going to say, so then All Gravy does essentially everything, right? It
absorbs exactly. It brings everything together. That's exactly that. So we're not. I mean, we had Workplace for just over 5 years. We're not specifically planning on getting rid of Workplace. It was there doing its own thing, and then the announcement last year happened where Workplace was about to cease their operations. So I went on the market, spoke to 16 different platforms, and this is where All Gravy had the edge. When I went on the market, I was looking for first a like-for. So what are all the features we love and then we want to keep that non-negotiables, but also now that I've opened that box, what can be done better and how can we improve the entire experience? So this is where this idea of creating a central hub where all our apps are plugging into it, so people don't have to download 7 but just one app to get things done, but also bringing that AI support that brings you the answer you want and automate a few things, which just ultimately make everyone's life a little bit easier.
Have you had to, you mentioned the non-negotiables, but with the budget coming in, have you had to actually drop something because of the budget? You haven't?
No, for almost 14 years now, we don't cut corners at Honest Burgers, and we haven't started it. We're not planning on starting, and it's probably why we're still around. I think customers are very educated nowadays of what brands or chains are doing and around quality of food, and they see if the standards are dropping. They see if corners are being cut and quality is being worse than it used to be. So now, if one thing we actually work harder than ever before to actually produce the best possible quality. When everyone was cutting or reducing their quality a few years ago, we started to actually opening our own butchery, so we could have full control of everything that's happening. So now we know that we pretty much do everything on the menu apart from the buns and the vegan patty. Everything else comes from our own kitchen or from our own chef, which is something we're very proud of, and I'm still myself very proud of after 11 years.
Yeah, amazing. I think you're right. Guests will see if you are dropping the standards and the quality. They're not stupid. They're going out to have an experience. And especially with the budget coming in, I think people are more aware of where they're spending their money and what they're spending it on. So yeah, keep up the amazing work, Honest.